There comes a time in life when we must stop seeking validation, approval, or understanding from others and turn inward. If you're feeling ignored, unsupported, or unseen, this message is for you. Not because you are unworthy of love or attention, but because the most powerful shift you can ever make is this. Focus on your life, not on who's watching. Release the illusion that others must care. This belief that people should understand us, support us, or always be there when we struggle is one of the deepest sources of emotional pain. But here's the truth. Most people are consumed by their own lives, their own fears, and their own challenges. And that's not a failure on their part, it's just human nature. When you hold tightly to the idea that others must care in order for your life to be meaningful or for your healing to be valid, you give away your power. You place your peace in someone else's hands. You allow your emotions to be dictated by who shows up and who doesn't, by who praises you and who stays silent, by who applauds your progress and who doesn't even notice. And yet the journey to self-love is not about being seen, it's about seeing yourself. You were not born to be understood by everyone, you were born to understand yourself. You were not put on this earth to please others or to constantly seek approval. You were born to evolve, to grow, to rise in your own unique and beautiful way. And the sooner you release the expectation that others will care the way you want them to, the sooner you'll feel free. Many times, we give so much of ourselves, hoping for a reaction. We overextend, overexplain, overcompensate, trying to make others care. But what if you stopped doing that? What if you stopped performing for an audience that may never clap? What if instead you turned all that energy inward? What if you took all the effort you give to others and gave it to yourself? It's not about shutting people out. It's about realizing that your healing doesn't require their attention. Your worth doesn't depend on their words. You are not less valuable because someone failed to see your light. You are not invisible just because they weren't looking. You are radiant, whether others recognize it or not. Some people will never understand the path you're walking because it's not their path to walk. They don't have your vision, your wounds, your calling. Expecting them to care the way you do is like handing someone a book written in a language they don't speak and feeling crushed when they can't read it. It doesn't mean the book has no value. It means it wasn't meant for them to interpret. Let that be your liberation, not your sorrow. Releasing the illusion that others must care doesn't mean you stop loving people. It doesn't mean you close your heart or become bitter. It means you become whole. It means you stop tying your emotional well-being to someone else's ability to show up. It means you stop needing permission to honor your own journey. There is deep peace in no longer needing outside approval. There is power in walking your path with confidence, even if no one else walks beside you. Because in the end, this life is yours. Your growth is yours. Your healing is yours. It is a personal, sacred unfolding, and no one else needs to understand it in order for it to be real. The people who are meant to walk with you, those who truly see you, respect you, and love you for who you are, will be drawn to your wholeness, not your neediness, not your desperation, but your self-respect, your clarity, your light. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop needing others to care is often the moment they finally start to. Because something powerful happens when you validate yourself, when you stop trying to be heard and instead listen deeply to your own voice. When you stop asking for attention and start giving yourself the love you've been longing for. Let go of the need to be rescued. You are not broken. Let go of the need to be noticed. You are already enough. Let go of the need to be understood. You understand yourself, and that is more than enough. So the next time you feel invisible, pause, close your eyes, breathe, and remind yourself, I see me, I love me, I am enough. Right here, right now. Nobody has to care in order for your life to be powerful. But you must care. You must care enough to keep going, to keep rising, to keep choosing yourself even when no one else does. And in that sacred choice to let go of illusion and reclaim your focus, you become unstoppable. Reclaim the energy you've wasted on others, all those hours spent wondering what they were thinking, waiting for a reply, replaying conversations in your head, trying to make sense of their silence. It's time to call that energy back home to you. Because the truth is, every moment you spend obsessing over someone who doesn't see your value is a moment stolen from your own growth, your own healing, your own becoming. You've poured yourself out, haven't you? You've given and given, hoping they'd finally notice, finally appreciate you, finally show up in the way you deserved. You explained yourself, made excuses for them, tried harder, tried softer. You shrunk yourself, you stretched yourself, and still you felt unseen. Still you felt like it wasn't enough. But the problem was never that you weren't enough. The problem was that you gave your sacred energy to someone who didn't know what to do with it. And now it's time to stop. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with clarity. You get to stop trying to be chosen. You get to stop trying to be understood. You get to stop handing over the best of you to people who don't even know how to hold it. Your energy is powerful. It is life-giving. It creates, it heals, it transforms. And you've been spending it on trying to convince someone to care, someone to stay, someone to change. You've spent it on arguments, on anxiety, on apology after apology for being too much or not enough. You've spent it obsessing over people who couldn't even meet you halfway. You've spent it on distractions that felt like love, but were really just pain in disguise. It's time to stop making people your project. You cannot fix anyone. You cannot love someone into being whole. That is their work. Yours is to protect your energy. Yours is to honor your soul. Yours is to rebuild what was broken inside you, not what was broken inside them. Reclaiming your energy means taking full ownership of your emotional life. It means stepping away from the draining conversations, the cycles of false hope, the roles you were never meant to play. It means saying, I deserve peace, and I will no longer betray myself just to keep someone else comfortable. When you reclaim your energy, you begin to feel yourself again. You notice the quiet. You breathe deeper. Your body relaxes. The tension lifts. You start to hear your own thoughts, not the echo of someone else's confusion. You start to trust yourself again. You begin to remember who you were before the pain, before the pleasing, before you forgot how much you mattered. This isn't about isolation. It's about alignment. You are not withdrawing from the world. You are returning to yourself. You are taking all the love you used to scatter in every direction and pouring it into your own heart. You are not bitter, you are better, because you've learned. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not selfish, you're sovereign. And the people who belong in your life will not require you to exhaust yourself to earn their affection. They will not drain your light to keep themselves warm. They will honor your presence. They will meet you with the same energy you offer. They will respect your boundaries and value your time. They will not demand that you dim yourself to make them feel better. But until those people arrive, or even if they never do, you still get to thrive. You get to choose yourself. You get to nurture the dreams you placed on hold. You get to invest in your healing, your joy, your future. You get to create something beautiful with all the energy you once gave away so easily. Every time you catch yourself thinking about them, choose to think about you. Every time you want to reach out, reach within. Every time you feel empty, remind yourself that the fullness you're seeking doesn't come from another. It comes from remembering your worth. You are allowed to let go of those who drained you. You are allowed to say, that was a lesson, not a life sentence. You are allowed to move forward without looking back, not because you're cruel, but because you finally decided that your peace is more important than their chaos. So take a breath and call it back. Your focus, your kindness, your strength, your love. It was never lost. It was just waiting for you to remember you are worthy of receiving everything you give so freely. Now is the time, this is the moment. Reclaim your energy, not just as a reaction to being hurt, but as a declaration of your power. You are no longer available for one-sided connections. You are no longer available for emotional depletion. You are available for healing, for growth, for joy, and for peace. You are coming home to yourself. And that is the most powerful return of all. The power is within you, not around you. We spend so much of our lives searching for someone to inspire us, for circumstances to align, for validation to arrive from the outside world. We chase approval, affection, recognition. We believe that when everything around us changes, then we will finally feel safe, loved, and whole. But the truth is, the power you are seeking has never been out there. It has always lived within you. You were born with wisdom. You were born with resilience. You were born with an inner light so brilliant that no darkness outside of you can dim it. Yet somewhere along the way, the world told you to doubt it. It taught you to look outward instead of inward. It trained you to believe that your worth was dependent on what others thought, what you achieved, or how you were treated. But your power has nothing to do with how people see you. It has nothing to do with your past or your status or what anyone thinks you deserve. Your power is in how you choose to rise. It is in how you choose to speak to yourself. It is in your decision, moment by moment, to love yourself, to heal, and to grow, even when no one else understands what you're going through. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You are not waiting to be made whole by someone else. You already hold the keys to your freedom, your joy, and your peace. The answers are not out there. They are in the quiet voice that whispers to you when everything else fades. The one that says, keep going. You're doing better than you think. So many people wait for life to shift before they allow themselves to feel empowered. They wait for the job, the relationship, the apology, the perfect moment. But if you continue to wait, you give your power away. You teach yourself to depend on forces outside your control. And the more you do that, the more disconnected you become from your own strength. The power within you is unshakable because it doesn't rely on what's happening around you. It doesn't disappear when someone walks away. It doesn't vanish when you make a mistake. It remains steady, waiting for you to remember that you've had it all along. Think about the times you made it through what you thought you couldn't. The nights you cried but still got up the next day. The times you didn't have the answers, but you kept moving forward anyway. That wasn't luck. That wasn't someone else saving you. That was you, your strength, your courage, your inner power guiding you through. Stop giving your energy to things you cannot control. Stop believing that your value is found in someone else's acceptance. Stop handing over your peace to people who don't know how to hold it. Begin to anchor yourself in your own light. When you return to yourself, when you sit quietly and truly listen, you will realize that you've always known what to do. You've always carried the wisdom. You've always had the strength. It was just buried under layers of fear, noise, and the need to be validated. You don't need to beg life to get better. You just need to shift your awareness. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not too late. Everything you need to begin again is already inside of you. Your thoughts create your reality. Your beliefs shape your world. The moment you begin to believe in your own worth, the world around you will start to reflect that belief. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about remembering your role in it. You are not a passive observer. You are a powerful creator. You are the one who decides what you allow, what you tolerate, and what you give energy to. You are the one who can say, enough. I am choosing a different story. So stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Stop waiting for a sign that it's time. You are the sign. You are the one you've been waiting for. You are the answer. You are the beginning of your own healing. And when you recognize that, you stop feeling like a victim of life and start becoming the author of your own transformation. No more blaming the world. No more giving others the pen to write your story. Take it back. Write it with clarity. Write it with strength. Write it with love. The power is not in what others give you. It's not in the past you survived or the future you hope for. The power is now. The power is in you. And when you finally realize that, nothing can stop you. Detaching with compassion is one of the most powerful acts of love you can offer, not only to others, but to yourself. It is the art of releasing people, situations, and expectations without bitterness, without anger, and without the need for revenge. It is the conscious decision to no longer carry the weight of what you cannot control while still holding space in your heart for grace, for peace, and for understanding. So often we believe that letting go must come with a hardened heart. We think we need to become cold to protect ourselves, that detachment means shutting down or walking away with resentment. But detachment in its truest form is not about becoming less loving. It is about becoming more wise with where your love flows. You can love someone deeply and still choose to step back. You can care for someone and still know that staying would cost you your peace. Compassion does not mean self-sacrifice. Forgiveness does not mean self-forgetfulness. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is walk away, not in punishment, but in protection of your soul. Detaching with compassion means you stop forcing what isn't flowing. You stop trying to change people who aren't ready to grow. You stop begging for understanding from those committed to misunderstanding you. And in doing so, you stop betraying yourself. Doesn't mean you didn't care. It doesn't mean the connection meant nothing. It means you're choosing peace over chaos, inner clarity over constant confusion. It means you're honoring your limits and respecting the truth of the moment, even when that truth is painful. You realize that not everyone is meant to go with you. Some people are only here for a chapter, not the whole story, and that is okay. Letting go does not mean you stop loving. It means you stop clinging. It means you stop making someone else responsible for your happiness. It means you stop holding on out of fear, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear that you won't find better. It's recognizing that love rooted in fear is not love at all. True love of yourself and others gives you the courage to release what is hurting your heart. There's a sacred stillness that comes when you detach. You stop the mental battles. You no longer need closure from outside of you because you create it within. You no longer chase validation because you validate your own feelings. You begin to reclaim the energy that was lost in trying to control what was never yours to control. And in that stillness, healing happens. You begin to see the situation through a new lens. You understand that people act from their own wounds, their own conditioning, their own fears. And while that doesn't excuse harmful behavior, it helps you stop taking it so personally. You realize that their inability to show up for you was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their limitations. Compassion doesn't mean you allow others to mistreat you. It means you understand that pain creates more pain, but you are not here to carry what doesn't belong to you. You don't have to carry someone else's guilt, their anger, their unhealed wounds. You're allowed to love them and still choose yourself. Sometimes detaching with compassion means having no dramatic goodbyes, no final conversations, no need to explain or be understood. It means quietly choosing peace and stepping into a new chapter with grace. It means releasing the need to win, to be right, to prove your value, because your value is not up for debate. You already are enough, always have been. Letting go is not failure, it is freedom. Freedom to grow, freedom to breathe, freedom to live your life for you. And the more you detach from what drains you, the more space you create for what uplifts you. You stop settling for crumbs and open your heart to the feast life has been waiting to offer you. So take a deep breath. Exhale the need to fix, to chase, to explain. Inhale your own strength. Inhale your own truth. You are not abandoning anyone by choosing yourself. You are simply refusing to abandon yourself any longer. And in that choice, you awaken, you rise, you heal. Detachment with compassion is not the end of love. It is the beginning of deeper love. One rooted in self-respect, inner peace, and unwavering clarity. Let go with love, walk away with kindness, free yourself gently. You are allowed to let go and still care. Falling in love with your own growth is one of the most profound and life-affirming choices you can make. It means you stop waiting for someone else to recognize your progress, and instead you begin to see yourself through eyes of compassion, patience, and truth. It means you begin to cherish your journey, no matter how messy or imperfect it may seem. Growth isn't always loud or glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's saying no when you've always said yes. Sometimes it's simply choosing not to give up on yourself. There is something beautiful about realizing that you are not who you used to be. Even if you're not quite where you want to be, you are on your way. And that deserves to be celebrated. Because every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. Every time you choose to pause instead of react, speak up instead of shrink, believe instead of doubt, you are growing. You are evolving. You are rising into a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of yourself. Growth doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you're willing to try. It means you're becoming more aware, more intentional, and more loving toward yourself. It means you're starting to catch those old patterns, those self-sabotaging thoughts, and you're choosing differently. Even if it's hard, that is growth. That is power. You are never meant to stay the same. Life is not about standing still. It's about expansion. It's about allowing yourself to shed what no longer serves you and stepping into what truly aligns with your spirit. Falling in love with your own growth means letting go of the illusion that you have to be perfect to be proud of yourself. You begin to understand that healing isn't linear, that progress comes in waves, and that setbacks are not failures, they're part of the process. There will be days when you feel like you're not moving fast enough, days when doubt creeps in and comparison steals your joy. On those days, come back to your center. Remind yourself of who you used to be and how far you've come. Think of all the versions of you that had to fight through storms just to make it here. That version of you deserves to be honored. Fall in love with the way you keep showing up for yourself even when it's hard. Fall in love with the quiet strength that lives within you. Fall in love with your capacity to heal, to adapt, and to rise again. You are not weak because you've struggled. You are powerful because you've continued despite the struggle. Growth is not something you chase. It is something you allow. It unfolds naturally when you choose to stay open, curious, and committed to your inner peace. It comes when you forgive yourself, when you stop criticizing yourself for not being further along, when you realize that your worth is not measured by how fast you achieve your goals, but by how deeply you stay aligned with your truth. Falling in love with your growth also means releasing the need for external validation. You no longer need the world to clap for you to know you're doing well. You don't need a finish line to feel accomplished. Your inner growth may not always be visible to others, but you feel it. You feel it when you no longer react to things that once triggered you. You feel it when you protect your energy without guilt. You feel it when you speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. There is nothing more radiant than someone who has fallen in love with their own evolution. Someone who honors their path, trusts their timing, and nurtures their soul with patience. That kind of person moves through life with grace, not because they have all the answers, but because they've learned to trust themselves. You are allowed to celebrate yourself. You are allowed to feel proud of your growth even if no one else sees it. You are allowed to shine in the middle of your healing. The world doesn't need a perfect you. It needs a real you, a growing you, a you who chooses love, especially self-love, every single day. So let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you're becoming. Speak to yourself with encouragement. Choose compassion over criticism. Allow yourself the space to grow slowly, steadily, and authentically. Fall in love with your becoming. Fall in love with the lessons, the breakthroughs, the tears, and the triumphs. Fall in love with the way you are blooming, uniquely, beautifully, and in your own time. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are growing, and that is more than enough. Focus is not just a tool for productivity. It is a deep and sacred form of self-love. When you choose to focus, you are choosing yourself. You are declaring that your time, your energy, and your dreams matter. You are placing your attention not on distractions or validation from the outside world, but on your inner calling, your healing, your purpose. In a world that constantly demands your attention, choosing to focus is an act of quiet rebellion. It is saying no to chaos and yes to clarity. It is turning down the noise so you can hear the wisdom of your own soul. Every time you decide to center your mind on what truly matters to you, you are honoring your worth. You are showing yourself that your desires are not just fantasies, they are worthy of dedication. Focus requires discipline, but not the harsh, rigid kind. It is a loving discipline, the kind that understands rest is part of the process, the kind that allows grace for mistakes while still guiding you back to your vision. When you love yourself, you learn to become intentional. You stop drifting through life. You start directing it. Loving yourself through focus means setting boundaries that protect your time and energy. You begin to understand that not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every opinion needs your reaction. Not every impulse needs to be followed. You stop scattering your energy across people and situations that do not reflect your highest good. You conserve your power. You become selective, not because you're selfish, but because you're clear. This kind of focus doesn't come from pressure. It comes from presence. It comes from slowing down enough to ask what truly matters to me today. It's in those quiet moments that you reconnect with your priorities, your values, your inner truth. Focus allows you to filter out the unnecessary and pour yourself fully into what brings you joy, peace, and growth. Focus is self-respect. It is refusing to chase distractions that keep you in the same cycles of frustration. It is saying, I love myself enough to stay on my path even when it's hard, even when no one's watching, even when I feel like giving up. This kind of focus is not perfection, it's devotion. Devotion to your healing, devotion to your evolution, devotion to your becoming. You begin to notice the power of small, consistent steps. You no longer underestimate the beauty of showing up day after day. You realize that every time you follow through on what you said you'd do, you build trust with yourself. And that trust is the foundation of unshakable self-love. Focus means you stop waiting for the right time and start creating your time. You stop making excuses for why you can't and start finding reasons why you must. It doesn't mean you never rest. It means you rest on purpose. It's easy to get pulled in 100 directions. Social media, expectations, opinions, they all tug at your attention. But when you truly begin to love yourself, you return to your center. You say, my peace is more important. My goals are more important. My healing is more important. You reclaim your attention as a sacred force, because that's what it is. Your attention is energy, and where your attention goes, your life flows. So you stop giving away your focus to things that drain you. You stop pouring into relationships that leave you empty. You stop scrolling endlessly to avoid your own silence. You meet yourself in that silence. You look inward. You ask deeper questions. And through that, you awaken. This is where transformation happens, not in the chaos, but in the stillness. Focus gives you the clarity to make better choices. It gives you the strength to say no to your old patterns. It gives you the courage to choose growth over comfort. And every time you make that choice, you are loving yourself in the most powerful way. You are saying, I believe in my potential. I honor my purpose. I deserve a life of intention. That belief becomes a fire that lights your way. Even when the path is uncertain, that belief becomes your compass. That belief becomes your freedom. You don't need to chase anything. You just need to focus. Focus on your healing. Focus on your peace. Focus on becoming the version of yourself that you can be proud of. Focus, not because you have to, but because you are worth it. This is how you love yourself without needing to say a word. You show up. You commit. You stay present. You stay aligned. You focus, and in doing so, you rise.